Hey Rebels, so I am hearing sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Let's get a look at this. So, creativity, intuitive wisdom, passion ignited, decision and fear, control, and fun and adventurous joy. Now, strangely, with the cards that we have here laying on the table, I have this energy of there's plenty of distractions around you. Yes, there's plenty of distractions around you as you are focusing on yourself and your creativity. Growing in the flow of juggling so many things around can really become very frustrating, can it? I'm sure it is. What's being challenged here is the origin of conflict. How do you deal with conflict? Can you even recognize, and have you come to recognize, what conflict has looked like in your life? How conflict has built parts of your character, as well as created those parts of you that is in resistance. Interesting. So let's go ahead and grab a little bit of Kipper-ish to see where all of this energy is actually stemming from. Bondage, house, top and bottom, abandonment. All right, karmic masculinity and poverty. All right, so simple to say that it's a impoverished mindset. Affirmation. That it's a impoverished mindset that, for example, when someone is saying something that is enlightening, that can increase the growth and intelligence in another person, how often do you really hear people listen? How often do you hear the silence of the person who is giving that wisdom be heard? Or do you hear questions? Do you hear the questions of curiosity? Do you hear the questions of wanting to know more? Do you hear the questions of needed clarity? Or do you hear people constantly jumping on top of what's being said to be a joke? Now, if we look at things differently, whenever someone is saying something that is not useful, something that may be considered as stupid, violating, abusive, something that is attacking someone's confidence, their esteem, their ability to be able to take that information and apply it for a greater good. People are all ears. They're silence. And potentially there's even a little bit of snickering and laughing. Spirit wants you to look back at when you were younger and the things that you had to shut up and accept, whether it made sense or not. The things that you were told to do that put you in situations of consequences, though all you were doing was what you were told. Spirit would like for you to even look at your now and ask yourself, how many jokes are being told to you that you've just let bypass, as in, oh, well, they may not be that serious. They couldn't possibly be serious. And then look at later on, if you can, look at later on how that joke was no longer a joke, that person was actually serious. So I've learned something even recently in this same realm of lesson. I was having a serious conversation with someone, and we were talking about the dynamics of when a man goes into the store. Let's say he had slim to nothing on, right? What would he need to purchase from that store to uniform himself? Clothes, shoes, the basics, right? And I asked him, continue on. Now, if a female was to enter the store, or a woman was to enter the store, already having on what it is that you purchased, what more would she need? And though this was already identified as a serious conversation, he jokingly said, well, they don't need this and they don't need that. And at that point, I just clocked out of the conversation, said, okay, understood, and I walked away. The reason that I bring this up is because Spirit wants you to realize how people test drive your sanity, how people will place a joke within a serious conversation, even a business platform structure, and they will test you to see where you're willing to fold. Yes, what they're saying in the moment can be seen as jokingly or in a jokingly manner. But what we're witnessing so much nowadays is people use jokes as a way to weaponize the truth. People use jokes as a way to see how vulnerable you're willing to be, and also an allowance of what it is that they may be willing and able to get away with you based off of your reaction. Did you laugh? Did you think something was funny? Because that moment that you thought something was funny can cost you your security. It can cost you so much of what you created as far as getting your nervous system in order later on. All right, Spirit said, let's move about. So be cautious about what it is that you choose to disregard. And obviously, we're looking at the fact that your creativity has been affected by people not taking you serious. And if you, rebels, continue to overlook these mannerisms of others, Spirit needs you to realize how it will later on affect your ability to create. It's one of those moments of, well, I thought they were my friend, and I thought they had my best interests. We used to laugh and this, that, and the other. But what is it that you used to laugh at them about? Because for you, you saw it as a joke. For them, they saw it as a test drive of your intellect. Spirit said, let's do one more round of, and then we have divinity. And I did see the false narrative card. It did peek out at us. Bondage. Okay. House. Oh, okay. All right. And the message states itself clear. You know what? I love this raggedy chair. I must say. Okay. And then at the bottom, we have travel. So Spirit would like for you to invest your thought process into letting go of those ways of thinking, removing those impoverished mindsets of even roasting sessions, because within everything, even many lies within lies, there are truths. And if you are abandoning looking at the truth for the sake of the entertainment, you are creating your own conflict. You are actually giving people a guidebook on how to talk to you, how to treat you, and what they need to say in order to work around your fence, right? So, Starseed, Spirit said, this decision and fear, abandon it. Represent who you are. And though it may cause you a few shortcomings, though it may cause you to lose people because they feel that you take things too serious, you're supposed to take yourself serious. And if others cannot respect the fact that you take yourself serious, enough for them to take you serious as well, what good are they doing for you? Is a title and a name enough for you to sabotage and traumatize yourself? Bondage and commitment. You have been bonded to this way of allowance for far too long. So now when you try to compromise with those who you have had this aspect with, of course, why would they want you to change? Of course they feel that you're taking things too serious because you've always let them talk to you this way. This is the way that y'all have normally done things. You've allowed for people to normalize disrespecting you for far too long. And the consequences of you allowing this is you having to let them go, or you sitting and existing in this coexisting space with them because you allow it to continue on. With house and courthouse, this has been created as law. This has been created as just the way things are. And there's a discomfort of this if you're still here. There has been an obvious discomfort. Back to the beginning of the message. When you call it out and you speak, do they listen? Do they continue to joke? Do they question you? Do they brush you off? And what you spoke up, do they brush it off and continue on with the behavior that already existed because you didn't know any better? And now that you do, they don't want things to change. Ritual and karmic masculine. One thing that we know about the masculine energy is that it definitely repels and reveals authority, the structure, the it must be this way in order, the allowance of it all. Who are you, rebels? Who are you? And who is it that you no longer want to portray yourself to be? It's what Spirit wants you to question yourself about. Because the heat from that fire, though you can still have many feathers on your wings, are you willing to sacrifice yourself and be torched amongst the flames in order to exist due to the way that things have always been? Or are you willing to make a transition and allow yourself to continue to grow despite who is willing to stick around and follow your rules? Spirit said it's time to move about from this impoverished mindset. They want you to have fun. Fun is needed. It's time for you to go on an adventure. And this adventure has a lot to do with you being able to juggle the rights and wrongs about who it is that you are, who it is that you was, and who it is that you're becoming. So, this lovely deck over here is calling my name, and we're gonna check it out. Oh, and there it is. I'm here, Heartbreak Hotel. Whitney Houston, Kelly Price, Faith Evans. Three of Swords. So, though this may be a rather heartbreaking thing to look at, depending on how deep you're willing to look at this message and the message and how it resonates with your self-confirmation. Depending on how deep you're willing to go. It's like this seems to be a hole in a table. right here for me. And even though it has a shadow, it still looks to be a hole in the table. There's something about this energy that has been so deceiving for you. There's a lot about this energy that has been so deceiving that parts of your mind is trying to pull you back to this is just the way things are. And yes, it is the way things are, but for a certain category of people who are willing to live a certain said lifestyle. Spirit wants you to identify yourself within this situation, within this lifestyle, and ask yourself, are you preventing yourself from moving forward by living within this behavior? You've gotten to this place where you have needed to learn how to talk to yourself. Why is it that it is okay for others to not have to learn how you are to be spoken to? Spirit said, leave that there. I was going to take it. Okay, I was going to take it further. Evade. So then we have, let me see. So we have the Hermit, the Devil, the King of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, and then overall energy. Baby, don't we love it? The Nine of Pentacles. This has so much to do so much to do with the life that you have created in your mind, that you want to get out of your head and here on earth. Do not let this defeat you, Spirit said. Do not allow, Spirit said, if you want to proceed forward, you cannot allow others to affect you in such a way. 1717. It seems as if I have very few words for this message because it's more so of a feeling of wanting to be free and trying to find out where that resistance is stemming from. The work that you have put in with yourself, it is now time to look at the inevitable. It's time to look at how others match up with you. Can others get on your plan? Okay. Creativity, the Hermit, bondage, commitment. Are you really prepared? And this is not to fearmonger you. Are you really prepared for what it is that you are going to learn and for what will be revealed about others in your life who you deem as supportive, to give it the acknowledgement that they aren't and move in such a way that you have clarity of what they are and what they aren't for you? They may be good at certain things. They may be beneficial in certain ways. But how do they work against you and your comfort and your ability to be able to perform for yourself? Yes, I felt a numbing feeling, like a tingling. There's like blood flush, just, not a blush feeling, but just, that woke something up in me. And I hope that you feel it too. Intuition, wisdom with the Devil in a household. So they say that a child's first teacher is the parent. It's the structure of the household. Spirit is asking that you give forgiveness for those who knew not what they did, for those who knew not what was done, even to yourself. Spirit is asking that you even give forgiveness to those who know exactly what it is that they are doing and are picking at you and pulling at you and laying certain things within your space to see you react, to see you be triggered, to see how you will behave if they say, if they do, if they don't. Due to the fact that people are only going to behave in ways that they have saw beneficial to them, that has worked. Why am I being told to split this? This is the form of justice that needs to come in. It's time to bust yourself out of that box. You were never meant to stay within inside of a box. King of Pentacles with ritual, karmic male, and passion ignited. Okay, I get it. Your life is your business. And I'm not just saying the details of it. You are running a business called self. And though everyone has control over themselves and they all make choices, your allowance of them within your space, when you have so much work to do to create the life that you have invested in making the image of in your head, that you are trying to bring forth here on earth. Look at others as your employees. Look at others as your co-workers. You have hired them in such a role to play alongside of yourself, to do things for you, to assist you, to validate you, and in ways to continue to give you an excuse to prevent you from yourself. It's time to move forward and about rebels. And it's so strange because as encouraging as this message is meant to be, I could feel the depression. I could feel the sorrow. I could fear the scarcity mindset. I'm here to move, bitch. Get out the way. Confirmation. Spirit would like for you to be reminded that you have to take care of what you are able to take care of. And anything else that you are unable within this human body to take care of, that is out of your reach and out of your knowing. Spirit said, give them permission, but you have to be ready. So potentially this is a call out of 2323. Lord, please remove all that is not meant for me. Lord, please show me who does not have the best interest of me. And say that for yourself in that whatever authentic way that is needed for you to speak forth what you need expenses and assistance for. That was for somebody. So let's get you a few of these. Spirit, can we point out a couple of things for the rebels to look at of themselves to bring them more courage and esteem? Okay, so we got companionship. Yep, exactly what we've been speaking on. Patience. Pause. Opportunity. And at the bottom, simplicity. We gonna put that baby right there over travel. And we don't fall. There's a light at your table. And I'm also hearing this little light of mine, I gotta let it shine. You gotta let it shine. Let it shine. Okay, this has been one of the most difficult messages that I have had thus far to have to deliver, because this message seemed to be needed to be handled with so much sensitivity. Nothing that Spirit is bringing to your attention right now is easy, because it would cause you to look at yourself in a different light from what you have seen yourself thus far. It's asking you to look at the ways that you have allowed abuse to remain in your presence. How have you allowed abuse to remain in your presence? And how have you allowed yourself to conveniently overlook it? Opportunities are headed your way, but you can't see them, and they can't exist so long as this way of speaking, this way of behaving, I did see 2626, this way of speaking and way of behaving continues to be a part of your normal. Companionship and commitment. How are you going to commit to yourself? And what does companionship look like in its healthiest form? What does it sound like in its healthiest form? Patience. It takes time for things to remold themselves. And Spirit said, this is not in regards to you expecting for others to change. This is in regards to you creating a new environment where your way of going about things is the guidebook. Your way of going about things is going to be created as the law and the structure of your wisdom and your knowing of how things need to be moved around, about, and through. Pause and look at the karmic energies of the masculine, the karmic masculine energies that you allowed to exist for the sake of conversation, for the sake of having someone, for the sake of being, for the sake of this is always the way that things have been. Because in order for you to create, in order for you to let go of that frustration that you have been feeling, Spirit needs you to understand that things are so much simpler than what you have made them out to be pointed out, understood. No need for negotiation. Be who you need to be to protect yourself. We're reaching over here. I see it. Solid ground. Okay, without a solid foundation, you'll have trouble creating anything of value. It's time to it's time to evaluate which part of life are solid and which areas are and which areas require some fine tuning. Rebels, that's the message. That's the message. And then, space age. Do not worry about feeling like an outsider. It could be you are ahead of your time, or your idea is ahead of its time. Be patient. Be patient. The rest will catch up later. Up in there, you got, baby. And then you have five, honey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got 7 5s. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold these here. Can you see those? No, let's go ahead and read them then. So you have clarity and change. You aren't a victim of circumstances. Rather, you are the beneficiary of it. If that weren't the case, life would be pretty dull. You will set yourself up for success in the long run if you are willing to adapt to this shift. Everything is working out for the best. At long last, you are accomplishing what you set out to do. Everything will work out perfectly in the end. And then you have change. You are going to level up. It might not feel good initially, but it will prepare you to handle the greater things in life for your higher good, for your highest good, for your greater, higher, highest good. Love it. That is the why you've been waiting for. Push through it. There is a reward waiting at the finish line. Okay, moving on about. You won't plant a seed. Okay, you would not plant a seed and then dig it up every few minutes to see if it has grown. So why do you keep on questioning yourself, your hard work, and your decisions? Have patience. Stop overthinking and keep watering the seed. With this, you won't plant a seed and dig it up every few minutes. Spirit kind of triggered me into a nervous system remembrance, shall we call it. I wish I could have had the better words, but think back to yourself. To tie this message in together, think back to yourself, a time that you made a decision, so you thought, and this decision had to do with someone else making a choice. And you went back and you asked them, hey, so did you think about what I said? Or you went back to them to see if there was a change because you brought up to them, you know what, this really bothered me. But then you went back to that person or to that situation and just to temperature check to see if they changed. And they didn't. And you walked away. And then you went back to see if they changed. And they didn't. How many more times are you willing to give others that experience of you, knowing how it has drained you? Spirit said when it's time to walk away, oftentimes it's that time that you see that first red flag. Because you kept that person, that situation around. Because you knew the benefits of it. Because you knew the intelligence of it. Of them. So how many more times are you willing to stick around in embarrassment of yourself, waiting for them to change, when they've already made it clear to you they're not going to change? And even when you leave, they may come back towards you to show you a hint, an inkling of change just in that area. They're showing you how smart they are within that moment, especially when they go right back to the way that things once were. So I do not know who needed this message, but do know that you are in my prayers, and that whatever this is about, I pray that you get through. I pray that you make it through to be able to see yourself, to be able to know yourself in a healthier way of being, and to know that you do not have to stick around and co-sign anyone's abuse of you. Mm, because it's robbing you of your every moment that you could have for your new beginnings. To be able to live in peace and realizing how different peace is different from being silenced. Many blessings to you, Rebel. But go make your life do what you need it to do for you. Within your comfort, your discipline, your respect, your authority. Go Rebels.